During this meditation, we're going to focus on your breath. This will calm your mind and relax your body. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. Whatever you experience during this breathing is right for you. Don't try to make anything happen. Just observe. Let's begin by getting comfortable in your seat, uncrossing your legs and your arms, and place your feet flat on the floor. Close your eyes. Roll your shoulders forward slowly, and then slowly back. Lean your head from side to side. Lower your left ear slowly toward your left shoulder. Now lower your right ear slowly towards your right shoulder. Relax your muscles. Now feel your body begin to relax. Observe your breathing. Notice how your breath flows in and out. Make no effort to change your breathing in any way. Just simply notice how your body breathes. Your body knows how much air it needs. See in your mind's eye your breath flowing gently in and out of your body. When your attention wanders, and it will, just focus back on your breathing. Notice any stray thoughts, but don't dwell on them. Simply let the thought pass. See how your breath continues to flow deeply, calmly. Notice the stages of a complete breath, from the in-breath to the pause that follows, the exhale, and the pause before taking another breath. Notice the slight breaks between each breath. Feel the air entering through your nose. Picture the breath flowing through the cavities of your sinuses and then down into your lungs. As thoughts intrude, allow them to pass and return your attention to your breathing. See the air inside your body after you inhale, filling your body gently. Notice how the space inside your lungs becomes smaller after you exhale and the air leaves your body. Feel your chest and stomach rise gently and fall with each breath. Now, as you inhale, count silently, 1. As you exhale, count 1. Wait for the next breath and count again, 1. Exhale, 1. Inhale, 1. Exhale, 1. Continue to count each inhalation and exhalation as 1. Notice how your body feels. See how calm and gentle your breathing is, and how relaxed your body feels. Now it is time to gently reawaken your body and your mind. Keep your eyes closed. Notice the sounds around you. Feel the floor beneath you. Feel your clothes against your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Shrug your shoulders. Open your eyes. Remain in your current position for just a few moments longer. Straighten out your legs. Stretch your arms and legs gently. Sit for just one moment more and enjoy how relaxed you feel. As you experience your body reawakening and your mind returning to its normal level of alertness, now return to the rest of your day feeling re-energized. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Sandra. It was beautiful. This morning we're talking about prayer. Prayer. Teach us to pray. Teach us to pray. When the disciples came to Jesus, they said, teach us to pray. So that means prayer is a process to learn. It's not just something we do, but it's something that we align ourselves with, something that we know how to move through the flow and with the flow of the Spirit. One definition that I like is prayer is a state of mind where all thoughts are stilled, an attitude of receptivity and attentiveness. Prayer can mean to make an adjustment, to focus, to tune in, to select the channel, or to set your mind on the beam. Isn't that powerful? Prayer is a way we tune in to what already is. Now that is the cornerstone of New Thought thinking, is that we come from a place and a belief and a state of consciousness where we believe that everything that ever could be accomplished has been accomplished in creation. That creation is successful. Creation is a finished work. Creation is the isness of everything. But because everything is, doesn't mean that everything that is has become what it is. Take that one in. Doesn't mean because something is that it has become that which it is. And this is what we are waiting in this outer world for. We're waiting for all these wonderful principles of creation to become manifested in our mundane everyday life. We're not coming from a state we learned last week of lack. I don't have it. I need to get it. We come from a place of consciousness where we know that we are whole in this moment. I can't say that through my five senses. My five senses would absolutely wipe the floor with me to make me prove that I am whole based upon the five senses and the perception of myself. I could give you a whole prayer list just on me, of things I would like, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. There's many things in my life that I would be led to believe I don't have, that I need to get. But coming from a spiritual consciousness, from the Christ consciousness, faith tells us that everything that ever could become already exists. And that's called the isness of God. The isness of God. One time they astounded Jesus. He was 12 years old, and the physicians was astounded at the things he said. And his folks came to get him. And he said to them, I can't leave because I have to be about my Father's business. You know what the Father's business is? Isness. It is the isness of God. God is. I am. That's what we're saying when we say I am and that I am that I am. We're saying God is that which he is. And Jesus gave us the great words, it is finished. So we have to be the ones as human beings who contain the extension of that God is into the human experience, to be those who are the becoming of God. God is becoming in you. So let's look at some scriptures and some ideas here about prayer. In Luke 11:1 it says, "Now it came to pass that he was praying in a certain place, and when he ceased, that one of his disciples said to him, 'Lord, teach us to pray, as John had taught his disciples.'" So let's take a moment to look at the word prayer. The word prayer is an interesting word. And remember, all these words were not spoken in English. If you don't learn anything else from me, learn that. When people come to you and they start using the English translation of the Bible to you, that there was not one word that was ever spoken in these people's time that was in English. So there's no way to understand what they're saying until you understand the context of the time in which they were saying it and the language in which they say it in. And I know the ego comes in at this point and says, "You mean I got to go to college and learn Hebrew and learn Greek and learn this and learn that?" No, you don't have to. People's already done it for you. Be thankful for those who took the time to take all these words and to define them, such as Strong's Concordance. I've told you about that big old thick book. It's about this thick. I carried that thing around for 30 years. Now all I have to do is just put it on in the internet and just put Strong's Concordance, the word I want, and it comes up. Now they get it right. But I carried that old book around all over the country because I would before I would speak, I would look at every word of the scriptures I was going to use and define them in the Hebrew and the Greek. And then in the late 80s, I found out that most likely Jesus was a part of the Essene group. Many of you know Bible at all, know that the Pharisees are mentioned, the Sadducees are mentioned, but there's no mention of the Essenes. The Essenes was a group of people that were a little different than the rest. They were not a part of the Sanhedrin court. They weren't part of the politics of the day. They were out here as healers and seekers and those who were tapping into gnosis and Gnostics, who were looking for information and knowledge. They were the weirdos of their time, much like you are in your time. You that have family and people who don't understand quite what you're doing and what you're into, we get that. So when I learned that Jesus was the Essenes spoke Aramaic. So I thought, well, I need to understand what they were saying, because when they came to teach us to pray, Jesus, according to the English Bible, starts out, "Our Father who art in heaven." So we all quote that in English. But what were they really saying? We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But the word for prayer that is translated from the Aramaic is slotha, S-L-O-T-H-A. In the word slotha is the word sla, S-L-A, which means to set a trap. Now you have to understand that in the Near Eastern languages, that words mean definitions on different levels or dimensions. There is no one level of one word that means just this. That word can mean 6 different things when you translate it into English. So really, the Near Eastern language was much more metaphysical than Western Greek-influenced language that we have. We like it black and white. We like it this and that, yes or no, hell or heaven, God or the devil, darkness or light. That's kind of where we are. And you see that manifesting today in the polarities that are going on, and how further and further we're getting from each other as this gap gets bigger and bigger to fill. Come on, HeartLight. We're here to what? Stand in that gap and make up that hedge. That's where we want to be looking, is in that gulf that is being made by the extremities that are going on in the far right and the far left, and most everything is a house divided. And we know that a house divided cannot what? Stand. A house divided cannot stand itself. So there's got to be those who are bridging this gap. So if I was going to say to Rick here, And this is definitely imagination on my part, but if I said to him, let's go hunting, that would be a lot of imagination for me. Anyway, but just, being guy to guy stuff. Let's meet next Saturday morning and we'll go hunting. This word would be go slotha. So Rick and I get together. Rick brings some traps and he brings some string and he brings whatever we need to do this hunting. And we're going to do this hunting because we're going to trap this animal or whatever we're trying to trap. Forgive me, Lord. I would not want to do that, but anyway. We are trying to trap some squirrels over here and be humane about it. We are. We want to be humane about it. We hope they don't have to die to do that. But I could say, let's go slotha. And he would understand in the language, just on a natural level, that I'm saying, let's go hunting. Let's go out and let's set a trap. Why would Jesus use this word, teach us, why would they say teach us to slotha? The Eastern meaning is set your mind like a trap and wait patiently to catch the thoughts of God. This is to trap our inner guidance and impulses. That's what prayer is. For some reason in the English, it's become ask and beg. When you hear prayer in the West, people are ready to start asking God for something. And there's a place and a time for that. But prayer should begin from the point of quieting the mind and setting the mind like a trap to catch the impulses and the thoughts and the direction and the guidance of God for our lives. In Matthew 6 and 5, which is quite a chapter, there's so much in here, but it says, also when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites. For they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the corners of the streets so that they may be seen of men. I assure you and most solemnly say to you, they have their reward in full. So Jesus is telling people it's not necessary to wear all kinds of robes and garments and go out on the street and do long prayers. He says so much here. When thou prayest, thou shalt not be like the hypocrites. When thou prayest, enter into thy closet and pray to thy Father which is in secret. Now, I thought about that and looked it up. The closet here is a word, means storehouse. Doesn't mean like your closet. It means a storehouse where you store everything. So going to your closet means going to a place of consciousness where you know that all things are existing in this moment. Come from a place in prayer of wholeness, that everything already exists in this moment. Then when we start using prayer, what we're doing is we're changing and raising our vibratory frequency of our consciousness. That's what prayer should do. That's what the music should do. Everything that we do in a service like this should be helping you to tune in to a frequency in which you can receive something you're wanting to manifest. I wish it was easy just come up here and I pray for you and just say, let this happen. Let your body be healed. Let this happen and that happen. And I've been in meetings where people have had tremendous miracles and healings. I can't deny the fact, but not everybody. And I always wondered, why not? Why would God, I'm talking about the separate old man out here, who loves us all the same, would heal some people and not other people? I've watched people begging God for healing in these campaigns and watched other people that hardly said a prayer be healed. And I couldn't figure out why. Why would God make a difference? For God is no respecter of person. We're all his begotten children. We're all equal in God's eyes, but why does it seem that there is inequality that is going on? And the reason is because of the level of frequency that we're at the moment to receive. If you're not at a matching frequency, you cannot receive that which is your desire. Prayer is a way of putting you on the right channel. Luke 11:1 says, now it came to pass as he was praying in a certain place that they came and said, teach us to pray. Mark 11 says, whatsoever things you ask in prayer, believe you have received them, and they will be given to you. So nothing's going to manifest that I already do not recognize as existing. Nothing is going to come out of nothing. We have to realize that anything that we are trying to manifest already exists, and enter into the closet and shut the door. What that means is shut off the distractions. Shutting the door to ego and all of the things that is the accuser in our minds that says it can't be this way. You don't have it. You're not good enough. You're not praying hard enough. You're not doing this enough. I call that the accuser of the brethren that's mentioned in the Bible. And it's nothing but our own ego that whispers within our mind those things that are not aligned with divine principle and divine truth. Jesus said, whatever you pray in my name, it shall be given to you. Oh, sure. I've tried that one. I've just tried using the name of Jesus as some magical term that would cause great miracles to come in my life. And that has not worked for me. So let's look at the word. In my name. Praying in my name is the word Beshemi, Beshemi, and it means in the Aramaic, according to my way, method, approach, technique, and with my kind of understanding. So he wasn't saying my name Jesus or my name Yeshua or my name. He was talking about in his true nature that he had learned how to create manifestation. This is what Jesus did in all those years that are missing out of the Bible. And some of you that don't know that much about the Bible might be surprised to find out 18 years is never mentioned of his life from 12 to 30. Nothing. Where do we find those? We find them in the lost books of the Bible. We find it in the books that have been found since the Bible was organized and authorized by the Catholic Church in the 3rd century. It's in those that we find what has been edited or not brought into the regular Bible that most religions, Protestant religions, have built their belief systems basically on. What he was doing was learning the principles of how to use the principles of the law of the universe for manifestation. And this is why he could do what he did. Changing water to wine sounds like a big deal, but I'm not sure it is if you come from a quantum level or from a level of alchemy. One of the oldest sciences that there is the ability to manipulate subatomic particles and molecules into changing form. You can't destroy energy, but you can change the form of energy. And what more than consciousness itself in a way to arrange it into a new pattern that manifests as the physical. So whatever you ask in my way, my methods, my approach, my techniques, I'm willing to give that to you, to pass it on to you. And when you understand these, you shall do the works I've done, and even the greater works. So we have to understand that there are methods and techniques to learn. This is why you see so many modalities that are popular today. Those who are using tuning forks, those who are using bowls and bells and so many other modalities today is because of the fact that these are methods. Reiki, these are ancient, indigenous techniques that have been coming back for the last few decades and getting popular again as this time of restoration is coming to us at this time. Restoration really means those things that have been lost, those things that have been edited out, that went into the dark ages are now, light is coming upon them, and they're coming back in the misnomer, the name of New Age. It's not New Age at all. It's more ancient age that is coming back to us. So that's exciting. That's exciting that we're promised that everything that has been taken from us is going to be brought back to us. But what I'm more excited about is not what once was that we have forgotten, but what is yet for us that we have never had before. The Bible says that eye hath seen or ear heard things that are prepared for them that love God. I think there's new ways. When I came to Soma Energetics and did that almost 20 years ago, I did something that nobody else had done with these tuning forks, with these sounds. They were out there, but nobody had a technique. Nobody was teaching it in any way. They just had these forks laying around, not knowing what to do with it, until I began to download a certain technique of how to use tuning forks and vibration and sound in the way that I was given to teach it and to do it. So it wasn't like remembering so much what was ancient, but it was taking what was ancient, tuning forks, vibration, and sound, and making something that had never been out of them. Do you understand? Not everything has manifested yet. There's so much in the field of potential and possibility that is yet to be made manifest. And the only reason it's not being manifest is we're not on the same beam. We're not on the same frequency in which to receive it. You cannot receive what you're not in a place to receive. I don't care what you pray or what you do. You're not going to change anything until you have come to some kind of a energy match with that. So whatever you ask in prayer. I heard many years ago, who's our guy we talk about a lot? Greg Braden was talking about how that he was learning prayer through the Essenes, and how the Essenes had a whole different way of praying completely. And they were having a tremendous drought in north New Mexico where he lives. And it was very concerning. It was very bad. And he had hooked up with this very spiritual guru type person that he thought, well, why don't we get together for lunch and then let's just go and pray. Let's pray for this weather to change and rain to come. So after lunch, they drove out into the desert. It was very dry. And the man that he was with took off his shoes, walked over, and Greg was doing something. He thought, I'm going to join him, and we're going to join together, and we're going to pray for this rain to happen, take place. And before he could even get to the guy turned around and came back. And Greg said, I thought we was going to pray. He said, I did. And here's what he said. I did not pray for rain. I prayed rain. Big difference. I did not pray, oh, send rain, we do not have it. I prayed rain. I saw it raining. I felt it coming up through my toes, the mud. I literally experienced rain falling on the ground. Tell him to stop. That's right. We need the other way around, don't we? We can do that. We can do that. Why not? But that just made sense to me. It was simple, but it was profound, the idea of quit praying for something and pray. Pray it. Pray it into existence. Pray it into manifestation. Give it that frequency and that vibration in which it can be basically received. So, Teach Us to Pray came out, this very famous Lord's Prayer that you're all familiar with and whatever. So when we read it in English, it says one thing, but what did it really mean is another thing. And we're not going to go through all that today, but we're going to let you know. I'll give you the first line is Our Father which art in heaven. You all know that, which is Avun Deshmeach in Aramaic. And I was blessed when this came up to connect with one of the great experts of the world of Lamsa's Aramaic Bible, Rocco Errico. and went out to California, went up to the mountains and studied the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic with Dr. Rocco Erco. So this is where I learned it, and it's a tremendous way of linking. But this first line, Our Father which art in heaven, is a universal term. It's a word that means in Aramaic, I am the father or parent of all. When we say it, we mean those who believe like I do, those who go to the same religion or the same church, those who agree with me, those who have been saved, and then we put everybody outside the circle. But when you bring it into the Aramaic, you understand it's a universal term. It's inclusive. It's not exclusive. So this is the way that it continues and unfolds when we do that.